Hey, everybody. I am Kim, and I've got Chrissy on here, and we'll talk about us in just a second. But I wanted to welcome you to Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders. And since we just went live, we're expecting that it'll be probably a little bit before people start to pop on. So I'm going to give it a couple of seconds, just make sure that everything's working right. And if anybody is on and they can hear us, please let us know in the comments. And it does there's a delay. I should warn everybody of that now. There is a significant delay with the tool we use. It's like, I don't know, 30 seconds, I think is what they timed it at.
Sometimes it's longer. When we were doing the last one, I noticed that I said something and it was a good minute or two before you were like, oh, and responded to it. And it had just popped up. So it could be a whole minute or two.
Well, in defense of the software, that could have been me too, because I have this giant microphone in front of me blocking half my screen. Well, I'm going to assume that it looks like everything's working right. So I'm going to assume it's working and we're just getting some delays in here. I know that it also, when Facebook notifies people that it's live, it's also delayed. So like I'll get a live notification 5 minutes after somebody goes live. So we'll probably just hop into this and then people can watch the replay and get some answers.
Do you want me to double check on my other browser to see if it's up and running?
Oh, hello. We do have somebody. I'm going to butcher the name though. From Elkhart, Indiana. I'm not going to even try your name because I really do not want to butcher your name.
I don't even see it on my end, so.
Oh, you can't see the comments. Oh, only I can see the comments. Nice. Good to know.
Not nice.
I said good to know. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started here. So Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders, you're on the Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders Facebook page or the YouTube live. We're doing live on both at the same time. It's amazing. Technology is wonderful. All right, so who we are, let's just jump into this real quick so people know who we are. We've also had some questions about this, so we wanted to clarify. So Chrissy, and I put Easton Myers, I don't know which one you go by. She's on the top. She's on the top right here. And that's Chrissy, say hi.
Hi.
Yep. And then I'm Dr. Kim Christian, which Chrissy's working on her PhD. So eventually we'll be doctor and doctor. And we pay a lot of money for that. And otherwise just call us Kim and Chrissy. That's about it. That's the only reason why we have to plug doctor every now and again, right? So we are identical twins, and we are actually business consultants with companies that serve web design, digital marketing, and business continuity. We recently converted to Morgan Horse Lovers, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but one of the reasons why when we were invited into this world, we were born on the 4th of July, right? Both of us born on the 4th of July. We love our fireworks. We love everything American. And we kind of felt once we learned about the Morgan horse that we had an obligation to help preserve this American treasure. I mean, that's really what it is an American treasure. So how we got this party started. So Wendy Legate, and some of you I know Wendy Legate. She's with OGO Morgan Horses. That's her business. And so Wendy and Chrissy, that's so not me, that'd be Chrissy. I apologize in advance. We do sound alike as well. So Wendy and Chrissy were friends, and they got to talking one day, and Wendy mentioned, the whole all of her challenges and what she's working on to Chrissy, and that got Chrissy really interested in it, in Morgan horses in particular.
Do you want me to tell the actual story real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so this is Chrissy. Wendy was talking to me one day and she said, I need some good news. Can you just tell me some good news? And I told her, I said, well, I just started working with people with websites, and basically that's short story of it. And she goes, oh, I need help with my website. And I said, oh, what do you do? And that's when she said, oh, I preserve, I can't remember her exact wording, but preservation breeding of Foundation Morgan horses. And I go, I understood horses. And so she actually was like, I was like, step back for a second and tell me exactly what you do. And then when I found out, and then I started helping her with a website and everything, and that got me she just got me hooked with it. So
yeah,
it's as simple as a conversation that got started.
Well, then Chrissy, of course, started telling me, and I'm going to be honest, I kind of tuned her out the first 6 times she mentioned it, but then she kept mentioning it because Chrissy and I, we tend to get excited about things and then we get unexcited, and then we get excited and then we get unexcited. So when she got excited and she stayed excited, I was like, wait, this might be worth paying attention to. And so then she started asking me questions about, how can we do this and how can we do that? And I started doing some research and I said, hey, you know what? There's a lot of opportunity for growth here. So let's kind of explore how we can help in this world. And so that's kind of what got us started, was just somebody mentioning it to us and, to Chrissy, then to me. And we went from there. Now, Wendy has her own website and her Facebook page, which we do recommend you follow if you aren't already. And I'll have that link on the next page. And Chrissy and I are newer to the industry, so we asked Wendy to help us. So you'll see a lot of our stuff shared between pages. And that's because, as newer, we don't know all the terminology yet, but, it's really, really easy to fall in love with Morgan horses. So, we're converts now. So Wendy's OGO Morgan horse site. So, she's been very kind and generous in allowing us to use pictures of her horses. You'll see like our site so far is just basically all of her horses because we didn't have any yet. And we're like, okay, hey, we need some pictures. And she's like, hey, take pictures of my horses. And here's some pictures that I've taken. And, I spelled Facebook wrong. Oh, well, that's what I get for not using spell check. So her Facebook page is, if you go to facebook.com/Foundation Morgan Horses, that's her page. And her website is foundationmorganhorses.com. And it needs to be the plural because the singular is somebody completely different. And then, of course, Wendy is also one of our primary admins in the Facebook group, which we'll talk a little bit more about in just a bit. So what is Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders? So we created Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders, and you'll see that we're also known as Foundation Morgan Breeders. And I'll explain that again in a minute. As a way to unite Morgan horse resources. It's for both breeders and people looking for Morgan horses. And it goes beyond that as well, but that's kind of like the core of it. We're trying to, help preserve the breed and build that up. So we figured that's what we needed to focus on, was that element of it. We included the terminology foundation, the specific word foundation, because the focus is on preservation of the traditional Morgan horse, the founding bloodlines of the Morgan horse, hence, the word foundation. So a lot of people have said, okay, well, if it says foundation, then it excludes me because I don't have a Foundation Morgan horse. Maybe I have a high percentage. Maybe I have one that I don't even know the percentage of. That is irrelevant. The Facebook page and the group are for anyone that loves Morgan horses. Now, of course, our focus is on this page is going to be the, foundation and high percentage. Sorry, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right screen. So what about the website? So this is kind of an interesting story. Right now, we have foundationmorganbreeders.com, and it is operational. It's up and running. And that specific website will focus on foundation and high percentage Morgan horses for those that are trying to preserve the breed. This is a cause, right? This is a cause. So we're trying to do that. There are horses that are going to be advertised for sale on there because Facebook does not permit animal sales. So if you post something on Facebook and say, oh, hey, I have a horse for sale, and it's not worded right, and Facebook's algorithm deems it to be an animal for sale, they will very likely eventually shut down your page. And what's weird is they don't necessarily do it immediately. So you could post it now, and then in 6 months, all of a sudden your site shut down. You have no idea why. And I'm a digital marketer. I have lots of friends who have been shut down for various things that they've done wrong because they don't listen to what I say. And then they go, hey, how do I get my Facebook page back? You don't. Now, coming soon, we've got morganhorsebreeders.com, because we completely understand that Morgan horse traits are strong, and there are many, many, many wonderful Morgan horses that do not technically meet the high percentage or foundation requirements, and yet they're still loved, and everybody still wants them, and there's still a demand, and there's still a need, right? There's still that need to keep that trait, especially if you've got, really good, strong traits, but you may not qualify as foundation or high percentage. So we're going to do basically a second site where it's morganhorsebreeders.com. And that's going to be for any Morgan horses. And what we'll do is we'll have them, they'll coexist. And anybody who is on the Foundation Morgan Breeders one will be also on the Morgan Horse Breeders one. And that's because obviously they can fall into both. But we wanted a section, like, you can't really find a whole lot of resources that are specifically dedicated to the foundation and high percentage Morgan horses. So we decided that, hey, let's focus on that first, and then we'll expand out to the larger population. Helps us fine tune our processes too. So a question we frequently get is, are you a nonprofit? So we are not a nonprofit. And I specifically say this because people say, oh, hey, they're accepting donations. They're a scam. Well, no, you can donate to anybody. It's just a matter of whether you're taxable as a nonprofit or not. So even though we are not a nonprofit, we do not operate for profit. So everything that comes in goes back into the resources. So the website, the marketing, the promoting it on social media, etc. We did explore options for setting up a nonprofit and decided it was a little premature at this stage. And we also found that the legal and guiding requirements of a nonprofit is that it's specifically registered as a public entity, which means it's not like a business where somebody owns it and there's a CEO in charge. This is a public entity where it's the public owns it. And the rules are that you can't have more than one, I can't remember the terminology, but like one person in charge that's related, so you can only have one person. So Chrissy and I can't work together on it. And we decided that was just not good enough right now, especially since we're the ones pushing all of our resources into this. So while we do accept donations, they will not be tax deductible. That's just something I wanted to clarify. Currently, we have spent quite a bit of time and money to build the current assets. And for the record, we are only going to grow as fast as we can with what we have. So if we want to grow faster, we're going to need additional resources. So that's just something that we're putting out there. So people go, hey, you're going kind of slow or anything else. That's why we just go as fast as we can with what we have. Okay, so our strategy: education, visibility, and connecting. And you can see here we've got this is one of our posts that we've done, and it's on USA Today. So this is one of our content marketing strategies and our visibility campaigns. And this was back in November, and we have more that are planned for this year, but we wanted to make sure we started getting people onto the Breeders page before we started releasing more information about that, before we started pushing more blog posts out there and everything else. So what exactly is the point of Foundation Morgan Breeders? So education. On the education side, Foundation Morgan horses are critically endangered. This basically means that if we do not do something right now, if we don't start right now on trying to preserve and have a strong effort towards it, eventually the traditional Morgan horse, going back to Justin Morgan's horse, what is that one? What was that?
Figure.
Okay, yeah. Going all the way back to figure, that is going to be extinct.
Let me jump in here real quick. We know that there are people that are working on preserving. We do know that. But what we're talking about is starting to make this a united front instead of everyone, someone here, someone there, someone over there. Yeah, they're all working together and they might even know each other. But we want everybody. We want, in order for everybody, in order for all these little people to be doing things, we have to have more people that are involved. Those few people that are doing it right now can only do so much. So we have to get more people involved is what we're saying. Instead, we know there's people that are doing it. We're saying we need to step it up.
Yeah. And there are lots of organizations out there that have their specific missions that they do. And that's, as they are nonprofits, they have to focus on their mission. So we get to have a little bit more flexibility because we're not a nonprofit.
And we're quicker at what we can do, because we can call each other and say, I want to do this. And you go, okay, launch.
Right. Exactly. Send it to our team and get it done. We can prioritize it, etc. So on the breeders resources, we specifically focused more on the website angle of it. And that's because if we can bring traffic into one central location, then we can help people connect people, people who are looking for resources and people who, the breeders who are looking for those people who want those. So there are a lot of people in the foundation, in the Morgan horse world that don't have websites. And honestly, we're digital marketers. We sell websites. We know how much those cost. And because of that, we're saying, hey, it's ridiculous for us to come out and say, hey, everybody who's even a hobbyist or just has them, they need to build a website. That's just absurd. So we decided to go ahead and have a section for breeders on the Foundation Morgan Breeders site where you can have a page. If you don't have a website, you have a page that can act as your website. If you have a website, you can still have a page, and you can get a link back. You can, we'll be driving traffic to the breeder's page, so you'll get some visibility there. And of course, if you have anybody, regardless of whether you're on our page or not, we hope to be able to help you get on the map. And I mean, literally get on the map, because when we did some searches, we couldn't find like hardly anybody. That's, if I do a search and I say, oh, hey, I want to go into whatever state, I'm like, oh, there's like one person. And then we'd be talking about it with Wendy, and she'd be like, no, there's like 3 people over there, at least that I know of. And they always talk about other people. So there's a huge lack of information in the digital world. And that's basically the map is where we need to be. So Google Maps, Bing Maps, Apple Maps, etc. So as digital marketers, we can help, and regardless of where you're at on that, we can help everybody get on the map. And so people can actually get found when there's other people looking for you. And then for those, however you want to term it, I know some people are adamantly against saying buying a horse, but I mean, if you're exchanging money, it is buying. So whether you're adopting or buying, we wanted to provide a central location to find Foundation Morgan horses, because this is a challenge for some areas in the country. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of places that are probably, oh yeah, easy to find. But I know when I was living in Texas and I searched, I couldn't find anything. And I knew that they were out there, but I couldn't find anything except for the occasional, where there's like a specific mix where they would say Morgan horse bred with, and I can't pick one off my top of my head. I'm not really much of a horse person, but Chrissy is getting there. And, but because of that, I couldn't find what I was looking for. And I'm like, this is weird that I can't find anything. So I know that when people say, oh, they have challenges, that exists, that I've seen it. I'm very good at research. I'm very good at research.
We got tagged in a post on Facebook about that particular topic. Is someone said, hey, where, I live in such and such a place, where would you go? And they sent them to some general sites, which I know there are some like massive sites out there that sell horses that are sites that people sell horses and advertise, etc. But a lot of them I'm finding are super slow. The information's outdated. There's not like an urgency to them to keep on top of it, because they make the money whether they are stay on top of it or not. So that was one thing, is that the sites that were recommended, a lot of people said, oh, there's nothing in my state, or no, that number doesn't even exist anymore, to the ad that was on there. So the people that were on the Facebook post were saying how there was hundreds and hundreds of people that were saying, I haven't found any good Morgan horse breeders or Morgan horse people in the area. And it just amazed me, and how many people were saying it over and over and over again. Not the same people saying it over and over again, different people. And there was a lot of people that would, put in some comments about a website here or there. But the fact that these are people that I have never even heard of half the people they were talking about, which means that those people also don't have they're not in front of other people either, because if only a few people know about them, or they just someone happened to buy a horse from them or whatever. So there's a lack of resources out there for people to find something local. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the part where getting on the map is going to definitely help. Why is it not going forward? There we go. All right. So, sorry, let me flip for just a second. Yep. Okay. So the plans for the website, and this is going to be the same for the morganhorsebreeders.com site, is, of course, for those who have a page on our site, we have built-in marketing for you already. So that's one thing, that if you build your own site, you have to have your own marketing, and which means driving traffic to your site, right? I mean, if nobody can find you, then it's kind of pointless to even have a website, in all honesty. But if you're on our site, we can help you get your local Google My Business set up and optimized correctly so people find you. We're driving targeted traffic to the site. I mean, highly targeted traffic to the site. People who are specifically looking for Morgan horses in your area, they will be looking on our site to see if they can find you. Publicity campaigns. This is where we create content and publish it to high quality blogs and websites. You saw us on USA Today. Here are some other sites that we have posted. We have content posted on. Let's see here. Email marketing. This is a big one. So people that sign up on our site will get email reminders about various things. It depends on what their interests are, and we're still kind of working out the kinks on that. But eventually we'll get to the point where we'll announce when a breeder joins our site. And then we'll also be able to say, hey, come check out, we've got new horses available, come check it out. And so that way that's all built in. That's something that you don't have to do because it's going to be part of our automated systems and marketing that we do. So here's an example of the top of the website. So we did OGIO Morgan horses, and we just kind of put some information in here, and everything's flexible other than this top space has to be we're at the beginning. It has to be kind of minimal, but your business name is at the top. It's your name. So it's branded as you. That's kind of an important feature. So if you don't have a name, think of one. You have a feature picture and then a brief bio. And I put about 4 sentences because that's what we have here. It could be slightly longer than that, but if you get too much content in there, we can't add pictures or anything. And so we start to get penalized. And so we don't want to do that. We just want to keep it kind of short there. And then we have optional links to Facebook and your own website. If you have other social media assets, if you have Instagram and LinkedIn or whatever, we can add those as well. Then I put a services and activities section in here where you can list any services. And so this is really great for those of you who have services that you offer, where you say, oh, hey, I actually do have a specific service, and we can list that in here so people can know that it's available. And then you can highlight any unique elements. And this is all flexible. So this is just kind of generally the guidance. We can change the template a little bit if we need to, but it's all hand done. Excuse me. So the bottom of the website is where we have like a brief history, and it will be of course, your name instead of OGIO Morgan horses. And then there's a brief history. And then we again put another link in if there is one. This context section does not go to us. This contact section is actually we send it straight to you. So when somebody sends an email, puts this in, they say send message, it goes straight to whatever email you want to get it at. And then you can correspond with anybody who contacts you. So that you bypass us completely. That's the way we want it. We don't want to get in the middle of that. Then of course, at the bottom, we have our sign up for the free calendar, which we're a little behind on for 2020 because we need pictures. But this is extremely powerful. As we build this up, this is going to be to the point. There's a lot of horse lovers in general who aren't aware of the cause. And then if they are like, hey, I'm looking for a horse and I want to be a part of the cause, this is how they're going to get notified, is once we've got them into our system. We can say, hey, by the way, this is what's going on. Here's how you keep in touch with us. And here's where you find some horses, and some Morgan horses specifically. And that's going to be really powerful as we build that up. So how to get a page on the site for those of you who are interested. And if you're not interested in the page, that's okay too. There's lots of other ways that you can help with the cause too. So right now, the only way for us to do this is manually add each page. So we need 3 images. And if you're like, oh, hey, I have 5 horses and I want to feature them all, you just got to get us the pictures and we'll try to work them in. Ideally, they need to be large enough sizes so we can adjust them and resize them to fit, the template or the page that we have and how we put it in there. How we set up some elements we need to actually discuss with you, because we need to know information. We need to discuss, do you want a link? If we can do a link, etc. This means we need to schedule an appointment. So due to the time involved, we also need to cover the cost for our team to add the pages, plus the hosting, marketing, etc. As I mentioned, Chrissy and I have already put a lot into this, and we can't keep asking our team to give up our on other projects to work on this. So the cost for the page, eventually we're going to start charging $300 per year. And that's extremely cheap. If you guys know anything about websites, that's about as cheap as we can go to cover the cost, especially when you consider marketing and, oh my gosh, just the visibility that we're going to be able to drive. And then all the information that we're going to provide and help you with setting up Google My Business and just getting you connected and creating backlinks, etc. That takes a lot of money in the long run. So we're trying to offset some of the costs. So we're going to start off by discounting this to $199 for the first year for anyone that signs up by the end of February. We do have a 5-year option if somebody wants to lock in that rate. And you can go to foundationmorganbreeders.com/website if you want to do that. And then of course you'll basically schedule an appointment and pay at the same time, and then we'll get you on as fast as we can. And when we get you on, we will, and I think I put that on the next page. Well, I didn't put that on the page, but we'll schedule an announcement that you're there. So we'll push that out to, publicity announcement to let everybody know that you've been added to the breeders section. So some other planned activities, and I put some eventually because some of these are more dreams, right? So we're going to continue our social media engagement, hopefully more than we have. It's just been really crazy with, the holidays and everything else, getting this all organized. The social media is a great way to let people know that Foundation Morgan horses are critically endangered. And that's where we can really use some help, right? We can use your help on sharing posts and getting people involved. If you have a story that you want to share, reach out to us. Let us know. We're exploring having guest speakers on some sort of regular schedule for Facebook Live and YouTube Live to maybe bring more information out to the public. And we can, once that content is created, we can create more content from it. So it's just a matter of, getting that. If you specialize in something and would like to come on board and do a live with us at some point, we'd be more than happy to have you on. Just reach out to us and I'll give you contact information at the end. We're going to continue to post. We want to post content. So like a blog, for those of you who are familiar with that, where ideally this is from guests. So like if you are like, hey, I want to write an article about, how the Morgan horse was used in the postal service, something like that, which I think I saw something where Mustangs ended up being that, but let's say that they were, and I think they were in some states. So you're like, oh, hey, I have a great information on that. I want to write an article about it. Great. Send it over and we'll review it and make sure it meets the requirements for content length and et cetera, et cetera. And then we can discuss any changes and get that into a blog as well. And that's going to help to build the momentum of everything. I kind of missed the word everything there, of everything. So as people are doing searches, as we're, sharing content with people, we need content. And so that's one way that we can get help getting information out to people. So we're also going to have horses for sale on the website. And again, I want to emphasize is that Facebook does not permit animal sales. And I know a lot of people don't know that. In fact, there are groups on Facebook that are dedicated to selling Morgan horses. And that is against Facebook's rules. So I'm surprised that they exist, but I'm not going to rat them out because I don't think that's very nice. But I just wanted to remind everybody that eventually Facebook will catch on to it and shut down the pages and groups, et cetera. So we're going to try to avoid that. But we will, and that's part of where email marketing comes in handy as well, right? So when we can get people who are interested and say, hey, yes, they're interested in a horse, that we remind them to check our site. And as we have new ones, we can announce that to them as well. I would like to see photo books eventually, like physical ones, but this might take some time and we're going to have to accumulate a lot of high quality, nice pictures for photo books. But we'd like to see this eventually and help get that on people's coffee tables so that they can see the different Morgan horses that are out there. And maybe, if we can get them in different types of, working and leisure and loving on the kids and everything. So that way it's kind of like helping to preserve what the traits of the Morgan horse are that people love so much. And so when somebody goes into, comes over, they can see it helps strike up a conversation. Oh, by the way, did you know Foundation Morgan horses, they're critically endangered? And that's, then you start having more people getting involved. And then of course, the high quality calendar. And this, again, as we build momentum, this will get in front of a lot of horse lovers and more specifically Morgan horse lovers. And that's going to be, we do a digital version for free. And then eventually we'll offer one that is a physical one as well. But that obviously has a cost to it. So we also wanted to include a clarification on our Facebook page and website. There have been some, I don't know how to say this without just saying mean comments, and very mean actions taken to some people that are associated with us in our page, and completely unnecessary. And so we want to clarify, we chose the Facebook page before we chose the website. So Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders, which the username at Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders was available. So there was no reason for us not to get the page because it was available. So again, I wanted to emphasize that we added foundation to the phrase to help with education of the critically endangered status. So those are a couple of things where we've had people like literally reach out to us and say, hey, why do you have the word foundation? Why are you the same as somebody else? Why are you? And we aren't the same as somebody else. Technically, we are Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders because we have the username. And we use the word foundation to help promote the cause. So that's something that just keep that in mind, that we're doing this for a reason. We're not doing this to step on somebody's toes or push somebody out. We had a strategy. This is the strategy, and we checked the username, it was there. Now the website, of course, we had no intention initially of building a website. We were going to do it all on social media. Then we started talking and said, hey, this is silly. Horses can't be sold on the site. We need to have a website where, we can have horses and breeders, and let's kick this up a notch. So that's when we went to check on the website, and the matching website was taken, but it was not in use. And as far as we can tell, it had been occupied, somebody has owned it for a long time, but it's never had any content on it. So we didn't really think that it was an issue because, hey, they don't have any content on it. It's not an actual website. So there should be no big deal. We'll just shorten it and go to foundationmorganbreeders.com. No big deal. I guess it is a big deal, but that's the way it is now. So foundationmorganbreeders.com is our website. Foundationmorganhorsebreeders.com at effective today still has no content on it. So any complaints with that, I apologize. That's just the strategy we did, and we matched it as best we can. The website is an ongoing effort, so expect occasional issues while we increase traffic to the site, but it's pretty stable right now. It's on really good hosting, but I just anticipate with more and more traffic coming in, we may have some glitches. So clarification on the Facebook group. Another question we've had. We created the group to match the Facebook page. Again, the name was not taken, so we really didn't think much of it. I mean, we just checked to see if the name was available. It was available, so we made the group. And it turns out there is another group with the exact same name, but not a named URL. So if you go, you can see down here where we have fb.com/groups/Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders. That's us, right? That's the group / the other group that's Foundation Morgan Horse Breeders doesn't have, I don't think it has any names, just has a bunch of numbers. So they never officially named it. And we just didn't do enough searches to realize that there was a second one exactly with the same name. So we did check that group because somebody goes, why don't you two just be the same group? Well, we actually have different missions. So that group, based on the description, is exclusive to Foundation Morgan Horses. And this is the other group's about description. This is their description where it says it's the purpose of promoting 100% Foundation Morgan Horses. So we do not exclude anybody from our pages or our groups, right? We're working for a positive environment where it's, we want to make people aware of the need for preserving the Foundation Morgan horse, but we're not going to exclude people because they don't have 100% Foundation Morgan horses. I mean, that's going to be exceptionally rare compared to the, relative to the whole amount of people who have Morgan horses in general. But it is important to understand that 100% Foundation is where we're going to preserve that line, that founding line. But again, we welcome all Morgan horse lovers or even horse lovers. We're not going to be
the whole point to this is to get everyone involved in trying to help preserve the breed overall. If we just focused on just 100% Foundation Morgan horses, I mean, yes, that's an important part of the cause, obviously, but we have to have high percentage, and there's people out there that love Morgan horses that are, this percentage of, I don't even know what percentage is anymore, but the point is that when you say, hey, I've got a Morgan horse, there's a reason why you're saying I have a Morgan horse. You love the Morgan horse, and it may not be 100% Foundation Morgan horse, and you still love it. And it's because of the same features that come from the 100% Foundation Morgan horses. So we really want to make sure that people know we are not excluding anybody from this group. We're not going to delete your posts that say anything about high percentage. We're not going to yell at you for posting about it. We love hearing about the Morgan horses in general. So yes, our goal is to preserve the breed, which means we need to focus up top more, but it's important to preserve all along the line, because if you stop somewhere, I mean, it needs help everywhere, not just at one spot. So I hope everyone realizes that our group is very different. This group that we've created is for everybody to be involved. We do not want people excluded just because they feel like a high percentage is important, because they are important. So when another group is saying, hey, this is what we do, and unfortunately they're named the same as us, and so it does give some mixed signals there. But our group, it definitely, and I know high percentage are the ones that have been targeted, saying, hey, you're not really a Foundation Morgan Horse because you're not 100%. You know what? Don't listen to them. Come over to us and join us and help. We'll help you out, and we'll keep going with you guys, because we like everybody.
Yeah, we do. And on that note, we're still building. We just got this started towards the latter part of last year, and we're still building. And especially in the group, if this is your passion and you're like, oh, hey, I really want to be dedicated to this, I want to be a part of this, let us know, because we're looking for some moderators and people to help the group stay active. In fact, be active. I think I got in there and posted, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got, all the marketing that I'm doing, and, we run all of our own lives, and then I'm like, I just can't get into the group today. And then it's the next day, and I'm like, oh, I can't get into the group. And I try to approve people as fast as I can. And for the most part, the only reason why we have it on an approval thing is because the Facebook groups have been really been hit hard. I have another Facebook group for lead generation, and they have been hit really, really hard with spammers lately. So we had to say, look, we got to have an approval process, and it's just request approval, so we can at least look at it and say, oh, look, it's a fake profile. They're going to be spamming. And you go, oh, nobody has fake profiles, but yes, they do. They try to join my other group all the time. I haven't seen any so far try to get into this group, but it's coming. It will. As soon as you get to a certain level, they start hitting hard. So anyway, if you are interested, just let us know. All right. So we've got the two questions that we always ask about. If there's donations, if you're interested in donations, just go to foundationmorganbreeders.com/help. If you're interested in a breeders page, go to foundationmorganbreeders.com/website. And for any other stuff, you can either contact us through Messenger, or you can just email horselover@foundationmorganbreeders.com. Don't ask me why I did that. I could have just put Kim, but I thought horse lover was more fun because I was, a recent convert. So if there have been any comments, I apologize. We cannot see them because nothing's coming in. If you guys have any questions, please feel free, post them. We'll stay on for a few more minutes unless we don't get any questions, then we'll end it. But I think overall, this has been kind of a rocky start for us, because while we're completely passionate and we know what we're doing, I did not anticipate the hostility that came with starting the page. I did not anticipate that at all, because I thought it was good. We're doing something good. This is a good cause. We're being positive. We're trying to help. We're being good people in the world. And I did not expect us to get attacked like we have been. And it's few and far between, thankfully, but oh my goodness. I think it's definitely a passionate group and a passionate group of people, that for Morgan horses, but I'm not that strict, I guess. I'm like, okay, everybody loves Morgan horses and everybody's welcome. Oh, you're not 100%. That's okay. And we hear it from both sides. So that's where we wanted to make sure we clarified where we stand, what this is about. Our page is completely unique from Wendy's. Wendy's is separate. People have tried to say, even Facebook's tried to say, hey, are you guys the same? And we're like, no, we're
I
not
just
the
saw
same.
a comment pop up.
Oh,
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Yes. Okay. So there was a comment, and I want to clarify this, that Wendy has definitely helped us with starting this and everything, and she posted this on her page too. She took a step back because she wants to be able to focus on her program. Now she's helped other people with other programs too, and I consider her like a coach in a way. What do they call them?
Mentor.
A mentor. Yeah, she's a mentor, and she's definitely mentored several people in getting their breeding program started, and she's very, very busy. But I know that if you have questions and you post them in the group, our group pages and stuff, the main page is a little bit harder because there's other things that go on in there. But if you can post it in the members group, join if you need to ask questions and stuff like that. She can see those and she can help with questions that are needed, and we can also, if we know answers. But she has taken a step back from this the foundation Morgan Horse Breeders, that Facebook page. She does help with the admin side of it, but she's not like one of us where we might put out, I don't even know, but she will help with content and stuff like that. But I don't want people to think that she's the one running it, because she comes to us and says, can I do this real quick? And I'm like, yes, you can. Absolutely. Or she'll say, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, what? Okay. Yeah.
No, Wendy has been a huge help to us, and she will always be a part of us and our site and what we're doing. And hey, who knows? Maybe in a couple years she decides to take it over. That might be the case, but as of right now, she has her own, and Chrissy and I are managing this one. Now we are open to help from people, because we know that there are some of you out there that have way more time to do things, or are way more passionate. I should say you are more dedicated to dealing with the technologies of Facebook than we are. And I'm sorry, I'm on a Facebook Live and saying, hey, Facebook. But yeah, Facebook does have its challenges. And one of the things is that, so like our group, like if you get notifications, some of you are going to get some notifications. She said, no, I think that was her no was to taking it over one day.
Probably.
Yeah, she's like, no, I got my hands full. No, and see, and that's the thing, is Wendy's got her own mission, right? So this is our mission, is to help preserve and build up the foundation Morgan Horse. Well, to build up the Morgan Horse population. Thanks, Wendy. She said we're stuck with it. No, Chrissy and I, we talked about this too. We're like, hey, this isn't something we can just start and then stop, and then start and stop. And this is something we got to be dedicated to.
And there's something else that needs to be said here too. We're kind of perfectionists, and the chances of us handing this off to anybody, I think, are slim to none. We're probably here for life. I'm telling you that. So I don't see that many people could come in and because normally people who want to take over something like this are going to be someone who is looking for a way to make money off of it. And we're literally just trying to get money to help push the cause. So not many people want to do that. They want money. Hey, give me. And that's not what we're trying to do. We are trying to keep costs extremely low for everybody, so that way anybody can get involved in it. And we're trying to keep it to where we can help. I mean, and keep going. And it's hard to explain, but we're yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much how the word came about, Wendy. She says, I love the founding bloodlines.
That actually, so, and that was something I think we briefly said. It was a foundation, and some people call them traditional. And a lot of people, I was talking to somebody about this. They were saying that when they hear, or maybe I read it somewhere, they hear the word foundation, then that means, a specific horse with a specific temperament, etc. And I'm like, well, sort of, but really it's the lines that are the closest to that figure horse. So I think people are a little bit confused on the terminology use. And as we keep going, we'll try and make sure we clarify as much as possible. And when people have questions, reach out and ask us. But the foundation refers to the ones that are that closest to that original line. They're not the ones that have, I mean, some of those don't have the personality and they may not get bred, but that for the most part, most Morgan horses are absolutely wonderful. So, I mean, I just went and visited my baby the other day, and she's a character.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I want to thank everybody for coming. I know we didn't have a lot of people hop on, and that's because we're brand new to Facebook Live on this page, and that's what happens. As we build, we hope to get more people. We hope to I really want to do the, where we bring in like people who talk about different things, like expert series or something. So if you guys know anybody, if you are someone, I'm like, if you are someone, so you're like, I'm someone, I'm going to be emailing Jim.
Everybody's someone.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, if you specialize in something that is important, and it could be just a generic horse, something, not necessarily Morgan horses, but I'd like to also go to some events and see if we can get some live stuff from that too. That would be really cool.
Yeah. So we do have some plans to bring some stuff out. Unfortunately, I decided to move right in the middle of Christmas, the holidays. So, like December 1st, I was moving states, and my husband was moving jobs and everything. And so we got a little bogged down over the holidays, and our momentum slowed down. And I know with the snow that we've had, and I know you guys had some snow and some weather, that it's hard to get out there and get pictures, but we have a lot of stuff planned and coming. So we decided that now is a really good time to kind of ramp back up. We're hoping that by the middle to the end of February, we've got stuff kind of set up, systems in place. I mean, this is exciting. It's to think that we can make a difference, whether it's sharing a post, or it's emailing some friends and saying, hey, check this out. I mean, when this is done, you can share it to your page and let other people see it, and that's spreading the word is like one of the most important elements of this, because I cannot even tell you how many people I know that are aware of Morgan horses, but they did not realize that they're critically endangered. They're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, Morgan horses have been around forever.
Yeah, doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way unless we start helping out.
Yeah, I really wish I could say. I want to say the name Maja or Maha. I cannot. I'm sorry. I'm 100%. I don't know. Nevadan, Arizonan, whatever, where you're like never exposed to names that are not Smith, John Smith. But anyway, I apologize if I can't say your name, but I really appreciate you being on, and thank you for your positive comments, because it really does mean a lot to us to hear that there are other people out there that are passionate about Morgan horses. And I read so much stuff I do my research, and I read so much stuff where people are like yelling at each other over things. And I'm like, just the positivity is just really needed. I mean, I have this stance that social media has turned into like the bully state. And I'm like, I am going to do my best to try to change that. I'm not going to post anything that's a bully. I'm not going to make mean comments. I'm like, that is my mission in social media, is to do my best to be positive. Now, sometimes I have to call people out, and I'm not by name, but just say, hey, I don't like this, because it happens. But I also know that people are very passionate about things. But okay, so like J sounds like a Y. So like Maya. No, I'll have to wait 5 minutes.
Yeah,
because the delay. She'll be like, yeah, sure.
We'll go with that. Yeah.
And you know what? There is that a picture of a horse. So I don't even know, male or female. I can't even tell. I'm assuming female, because guess what? Our page is like 90% female.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, because the mamas in us that have to take on the lost causes, and this is not a lost cause, people. This is a good cause.
Yeah. At one point I told Chrissy that it's more in act. We'd love to see more in action. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I got to be honest, when Wendy first told me that, what she did, and I was like, I don't get it. I didn't get it at first. And then we've seen what is the AMHA that was posting numbers about registrations. That's another thing we'll be talking about too. And, different things that are out there about why we've got these numbers. So. People can't see though. You're laughing about the comments, right?
Yes, I'm laughing about the comment. Sorry. That was good. Girl parts. Yeah, no. So I want to come out. I unfortunately have not had the opportunity to meet a Morgan horse in person. So I need to. No, I know I haven't.
I know I haven't. Ever go horseback riding with me?
In Oklahoma?
We did. Well, I don't know. Was it Oklahoma? I don't remember. I know it wasn't in Hawaii. That's for sure. You didn't go with me to Hawaii. And
no, I didn't.
Wendy has told me that it was not a Morgan horse that I was riding. So, because I had no clue until I pulled the picture out. She's like, "That's not a Morgan horse." I'm like, "Well, I didn't think so." But I wanted to show her the horse that I fell in love with. And when I was in Hawaii, I went horseback riding, and I found out that I was going to be the last person riding that horse, because he was getting too old. He was blind and all kinds of stuff, and they were shipping him off to a new home. Yeah, right. And so I offered to buy him. was like, I will ship them to the United States and I'll take them. And they're like, okay, sure. And they said, yeah, go ahead, give us a call. So I got home, I called them. They're like, we didn't think you were serious. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Hi, Dave.
Oh.
See, I'm betting people are just now getting the notification and we're what, like an hour in?
49 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yeah. So anyway, definitely watch the replay, find out what we're about. Future ones are, we want to focus more on, specific topics. And if you guys have suggestions for topics or, anything, feel free, email us. I will tell you, I'm getting a lot of spam right now. So if it takes me a little while to get back to you, I apologize. It's a lot of spam right now. Somebody went through, for those of you who have websites and you have a contact page, you're probably getting it too. But somebody created a software that goes through and will automatically send information through contact forms. So it just scrapes the internet and just starts spamming websites. And I get like 45 or 50 emails a day that are just spam, just junk. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did somebody create that? And then they sold it for super cheap. I know, because they sent me an offer for it. So, okay, I don't see any questions in here, but I have to say that I'm excited that we had some people on and that we had some engagement. And well, like I said, we'll do less about us things because we just wanted to clarify this. We decided to start off the year, just push all the rumors out and say, this is this. And then from there, we can now move forward, because that was kind of a big pain when you're constantly telling people, no, this is wrong. That's not right. We're not that group, or no, that person's not associated with us, or, it was really difficult. And so now we've put that aside. We're set straight that this is a huge group of people, right? Everybody who wants to be a part of it.
They can all join us. It's all about the same cause. So.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, is that's where it goes back to that whole nonprofit discussion. It's like, yeah, we could do a nonprofit and get more people involved and, make it official. But the problem we run into is that then let's go back to pre my years. So probably like the 60s or 70s, the nonprofits were notorious, especially small ones, were notorious for getting taken over by criminal entities to help launder their money. And it was a common nonprofit problem. That's why they now have different auditing processes and everything else. So
now fast forward today, and it takes 2 months to say yes to something, or once you say yes, it takes 2 months to implement it. So we like to say the main reason we do not want to be an actual nonprofit is because when something comes up, an opportunity comes up, and we have the question, do you want to do this? Or, hey, can we do this? We could literally call each other and say, this came up, should we do it? Yeah, let's do it. And we can do it like that day or the next day. It doesn't take 2 months for us to say, yeah, let's implement it. What are you doing?
I wanted to go back to this. So just real quick, I want to give an example of one thing that, so this, while it cost me money to do this, right, to do these publicity campaigns. And so I'm paying for that, for me, my team to do this. And that's one of the things, like, I don't know how easy it would be for, like, if a nonprofit were to approach me and say, hey, would you do this? I'd obviously give them a discount. But I still, as a for-profit business, would have to make money. If a business were to come to me and say, hey, will you do this at the level that we plan on doing it for the website? I would charge like $4,500 a month, because there's the costs, paying the team, et cetera. And of course, then there's profit included if I was charging a business. So that's the kind of stuff that we're bringing in to it now. And we're like, look, we don't want to rock the boat, but we want to be able to put as much as we can into this. But like I said, these cost me money. The website costs us money. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's definitely worth it. It is definitely worth it. This is something we're going to dedicate as much time as we can. And there's no pressure from us to be like, oh, if you're involved, you need to do X, Y, or Z. We're just asking if you want to help preserve the Morgan horse, that if you can do something like share a Facebook post, or, share an email that you get, and, different things like that are sometimes the most powerful. So there's little things like that to, hey, if you have a few bucks and you want to help out the cause, then you can donate. And if you're like, hey, I'm a breeder and I need help with the website, but I want the cheapest version possible, we've got that set up. And of course, if we get to the point where we have enough donations coming in, we may even waive the cost of that eventually. But that I do not foresee in the near future. We've got to build up some momentum before people start to see the real value. So let us know, reach out, with your questions, everything else. You got horselover@foundationmorganbreeders.com. I monitor that daily for all the spam right now, but hopefully some more positive ones.
Just want to put it out there real quick. If anybody knows anybody famous that wants to come on and talk to, like, I can't say that guy because I know him. Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott would be a good one. If anybody knows him,
Do shout
I
outs
think
to
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was in the area. I should have ran down and said, "Hey, come over here and just stand with me by this horse real quick and take a picture."
Once a month, we're going to come on here and just start shouting out celebrity names until somebody
Yes.
comes on.
Some celebrity needs to come out. Yeah, we're gonna call every celebrity. We're gonna go alphabetical. No, we should randomize it. We should definitely randomize it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom
All right.
Hanks, Tom Selleck. I'd take any of them. Any of the Toms out there.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I said Tom Cruise earlier. I think you're laughing at me.
Probably.
He was actually, I think, filming up at Lake Tahoe or something like that.
He was not that long ago.
And I was like, dang it, I should have thought about that. I would have taken a horse over and said, hey, can you stand by this? Let me take a picture. Thanks.
Yeah. So we do have a lot of ideas, a lot of plans. So again, reach out with any, email or message us, whichever. I don't monitor the Facebook messages as much as I should. So hopefully you got that, Chrissy.
Wait, what?
I said, hopefully you got the Facebook messages because I can't ever open it for some reason.
We'll try. Yeah. Facebook, depending on the browser I use or if I'm using mobile or not, sometimes is difficult, but we'll work on it. We got some help. So.
Yeah. So if you guys aren't shy and you are like, hey, I'm a breeder and I'd like to come on, I'd like to do that too. I'd like to feature some breeders, in a live where we can talk about something. It would probably be a lot shorter than this though. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
But we have you can line up some questions and stuff and have that because we'd like to really get some visibility out there for people who have Morgan horses. So I keep stopping after Morgan horses because I just moved into a house on Morgan Way. So I'm like, I keep wanting to say Morgan Way, but it
Morgan
wasn't
Way horses.
Yeah, Morgan Way horses, right?
Morgan Horseway?
I still thought it was funny when because I didn't pick it. My husband did. And I was like, because I picked the area and it was this one and then another house that's on a street that's like directly in front of us. And I think it's like Tumbleweed or something. And so he picked Morgan. And I was like, that's funny that you picked Morgan, honey.
By the way.
Right. Unfortunately, we don't have any land here, so we can't get any horses, though. That's in a couple years. Chrissy's got her horse so far. I have to talk to someone named Wendy.
About getting a horse?
Yeah.
I need to talk to a guy about a horse.
I need to talk to a guy about a horse, right? Okay, now we're just goofing off. All right, we're done. We're stop goofing off. All right, I gotta go make sure that my daughter's fine because I'm pretty sure my husband fell asleep. I think I hear him snoring.
Oh, that's nice. All right.
All right. Thank you again, everybody, for coming. Well, this replay will be up. It takes, a few minutes for it to process, and then it'll be back up on the page. I shared it into the group as well. If you aren't in the group, please join the group. There's no restrictions for us. So we'd love to see you, and we hope to, get this ball rolling and get everything moving as quickly as possible. So thank you again, everybody, for coming. Chrissy, thanks for coming on with me.
Yep. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah. And we will do this again soon. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.